We are all this thing, this all nothingness. We are already it. No one needs to wake up. There is no one to wake up. This is the natural state. This is what is. And yet, somehow, you are still trapped in this illusion of being someone separate, a point of view of a person. And this person has not realized yet that it is all nothingness. This character announces that she is this thing. This is the difference. She announces it and she claims it and she stands behind this declaration. This is what it is. This is all nothingness. And because this character like jumped over this barrier or behind the veil and became this thing, she can also express what she thinks. She talks about the character, of course, this thing, what it means and what it will take for a character to do that. What is the perfect candidate for enlightenment? So it's kind of like a job interview where it's the big boss and he gets your resume and he says, okay, for this job I need these qualifications. And there are things that will eliminate your possibility to reach this job immediately. So what are these things that are required from a candidate? And this is not Simcha talking, this is all nothingness talking. This is like the global, most universal values that this thing needs, the minimum things this thing needs for a person to be, to reach this openness of heart. Okay, so let's start. What is required from you if you want to reach this state and eliminate your character and become one with this thing? The first thing is you have to be compassion itself. When I say you have to be compassion, you truly, really need to be compassionate. Not because you need to, or it benefits you in some way, or you think it's the appropriate thing to do, or it's beautiful, or you like the idea. You have to be compassionate because it is the most logical thing to do. It is logical in All Nothingness book. But when you see someone suffers, you feel their pain and you want to help him, just as you would like to help yourself or the closest people around you. You are one with everything, so you are compassionate about everything, not about yourself. There is no you. So the first thing to know is that this thing is compassion. It is compassion. And if you do not show compassion, not outwardly, not just for people to see or for you to love yourself, compassion means really caring about the others, and not just people, the planet, animals, everything. You have to have this sensitivity inside you. And if you don't have this sensitivity inside you and you realize that, it's a step forward. Acknowledging the level of your compassion is a great start to start knowing how evolved are you in this journey. If you are not compassionate enough and you know that, and you truly know, and you look at yourself and you say, okay, I have some compassion in me, but it's not grand. You can start just working on it by doing actively things for others, from this habit of doing and just offering yourself and getting out of the comfort zone and doing things that you normally wouldn't do for others, you like train the muscle of compassion. Not by forcing yourself for compassionate actions somewhere for charity, just by looking at your immediate surroundings, the people around you, your neighbor, the old woman in your street, a child, and you show compassion to them. You listen to them. You look at them. You want them to share their troubles with you, and you can help them. It's so simple. Start close. Start by getting involved in your neighborhood, your community. Do that. This is a start to train the compassion muscle, not just volunteering or donating or finding some cause. No, it's in the way you treat your mother, the attention you give in a conversation when you talk to someone, the attention you give to him, not just listening to yourself and thinking all the time, what will I gain or how this thing is working. Just by looking at them and paying attention to what they are saying, just truly looking at them. So this is the first thing you have to check in this qualification list, your level of compassion. You have to be very, very evolved in the level of compassion for this thing to align with you, because this thing is compassion. Another thing is the independence of the mind, not accepting anything without checking yourself and knowing yourself. Not because you know something, because you learned it sometimes in the past, or it's something you were taught and you trust the people who taught you that, or you've seen that on television, or the general opinion is like that, so you form some kind of an opinion and you don't think for yourself. If you want to reach enlightenment, self-realization, you have to think for yourself. You have to check yourself, each and every fact, before you speak or before you form an opinion about something. You must know yourself. Do not trust anyone else. You can listen, you can read, you can check. Everything has to be independently valued by you. Freedom of thought, freedom of personality. You have to be very strong. No influences. No, you are the only decision maker. And you have to see for yourself. Never trust anything that is being brought to you as a fact. Check, look, investigate, learn yourself. You'll do that. Sometimes you will realize that things that you thought was true were not. And then there's another thing in this list. Flexibility and the ability to change and the ability to open yourself and your belief system to the truth, if it comes your way. If the truth comes your way and you still hold on to old beliefs because you know that you are built like that and you don't bother to check. Let's say it's not useful for you. Let's say it will leave you exactly where you are. If you really want to move forward in this journey, that is not a journey to be what you already are, you have to be very flexible and open. And really look at everything with fresh eyes and see and trust your intuition. Look at something and check, is this true? Why do I believe it's true? You You have to look for yourself and be open to the possibility that maybe you were wrong about something. And you have to admit sometimes that you were wrong about something that you thought was like something that was very basic in your personality. Like to shatter something inside you. You have to be willing to do that, to shatter things inside you bravely, because it's all like structures inside a psychological, like a building inside you, and as long as you don't get rid of this building of beliefs that are like something that is very old, it's like history, you will not be able to progress beyond this state, and you will stay there. This will be your state. If you like this state and you want to stay there, it's one thing, but if you look for this thing, this enlightenment, this self-realization, you will never reach anything, and you will never change, and you will never evolve if you don't allow yourself to be very flexible and open, to allow yourself to break everything inside you. So this is another quality that you need. We said compassion, independence of character, of the mind, flexibility. Inside a story, we all live inside a story or in an illusion. And inside the story, oneness is expressing. And inside the story, there is light and darkness. And there is good and bad. There are the good guys in the movie and the bad guys in the movie. And this is another quality for someone who is searching for enlightenment. In the story, he has to have common sense to look at something without prejudice and see. And the ability, the basic ability to know right from wrong, good from bad, and to denounce any activities such as... Now I'm going to dive into the story in Israel, because some comments compared the atrocities that happened by the terrorists of ISIS, Hamas, to actions of Israel. And this is beyond words how twisted this thought is, how ignorant this thought is, and how it is not connected to knowing, just looking at reality and seeing. It is that simple. If you open the news and you see a massacre, you see young people running from a party for peace, it's so symbolic. They danced in a party for peace and they were slaughtered in the most horrendous way possible. And there is documentation of these things, hundreds of videos that the terrorists filmed themselves torturing other people, and you cannot ignore it. You can see that, and if your common sense doesn't tell you this is bad, something is wrong with your perception of what is good and what is bad. And if you don't know that in the story, and you cannot point this difference between good and bad, light and darkness, how can you expect to have the... Because this state is pure common sense and logic, all nothingness, being this thing, being this emptiness. It is logical. And only a very rational, connected thinking, awake thinking that sees everything, can align and lead to this this state which is so logical. And not knowing what's good and what's bad is not. Let's say it's not so intelligent, or it's driven by fears or by prejudice. I don't know what is this. And I don't have much time because it's very late and I'm tired. But if you truly want to know yourself, to be enlightened, these are parameters you can check yourself by. Look at yourself bravely. If this was a job interview, would you pass it? Are you good enough to do that? Because it's not by intellectually understanding what emptiness is. Because Simcha talked about the silence and described the pitch and what is the nature of time. She did that. You can look, there are many videos that describe this state. She tried. But it's not there. This is the expression of the present thing, because it expresses itself as a moment, as a story, as reality. This is the expression. Doesn't mean it's real, but this is the expression. And if inside this expression you cannot understand that it is not the philosophical side of it, it's not talking about it, it's living it. It's how you live inside the moment, truly being in the moment, is reacting to what is now and identifying what is now. And this is what the character Simcha is doing now. The character is inside a war. She reacts as a mother. She's not a soldier. She cannot fight. If she could, and I think if she was a soldier and this soldier was enlightened, he would fight as best he can to win inside this story. There is no hesitation about killing someone. He is not killing anyone. This is an idea. He is killing the idea of what is bad. It cannot be that only one of these things express themselves at the character. It has to be the whole bundle, the whole thing. So everything has to be maximum level of expression. You cannot live anything. You cannot be a compassionate person and yet still hold on to your old structures and beliefs and expect a change. You have to follow every one of these qualifications. And it's hard. And it's not what maybe there are easier ways other people can suggest, like sitting and relaxing the mind or getting inside the moment or saying some mantra or doing retreat work. But no, Simcha lovingly suggests that if you want to really know yourself, start close, start where you are. And as always, look at yourself, truly look at yourself, bravely look at yourself, and see what kind of actions are you doing inside this world. How do you change the world? Really, how do you help the world? Truly, how do you stand by the good guys in the story and not confuse yourself with prejudice? How do you look straight in awake and with an independent, investigating mind? How do you do that? How do you become the best person you can be? And then this best person you can be, best version of yourself, when you reach this thing, when you reach your full potential, I guarantee you, this full potential of a person will blow up and vanish, and all that will be left is this quietness that is and always has been you.